Mini GT versus Hot Wheels. Let's discuss it. Hi guys, welcome back to the Ultimate Diecast channel, where today we'll be taking a deeper dive into Mini GT versus Hot Wheels. And for this we'll be looking at two main talking points, and that will be value for money and overall build quality. There'll be other points that we'll be looking at throughout the video, but they were the two main points that we'll focus on comparing these two cars. If there is anything you would like me to add to these videos, please feel free to let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. I will be focusing on the loose variant of this particular model, as box models can get very pricey, with this being out of the diorama box set, which retailed as a Walmart exclusive in the US for $25 and currently sits on the market at 80 Great British Pounds or $100. And this particular model loose is around £15 to £25. So as you can see, the model isn't actually that badly detailed. It's got all indicators, all lights, and the wheels do spin, obviously with it being made to go down a Hot Wheels track. The rear lights are painted on, and it's got a Nissan badge, and you can see the GTR logo. It's also got the rear fog lights next to a fairly detailed number plate, which is a nice touch for Hot Wheels to add, especially with the nice rear silver GTR badge, and you can clearly tell where they are. But as you take a closer look, you start to see some of the discrepancies with the model. A big factor I haven't pointed out is the no wing mirrors, and for that reason this model does get knocked a few points, just as I am treating these in a realistic diorama situation, and no wing mirrors, you don't see very many cars with no wing mirrors. And as we'll take a closer look, you'll start to see even more discrepancies with the likes of paint. So on the rear bumper you can see the paint is applied a little bit thick, and under the spoiler it's not quite finished as well, where the paint hasn't been applied, and you can see some rough patches. The painted taillights don't look that bad for being painted, but they could be a lot more detailed. The Nissan badge, as much as it is made prominent, it is only a silver line, but it still does make it stand out. Another thing to factor in is scale, and you're probably thinking, well, aren't they both the same size? And yes, they are, but Hot Wheels tend to make all of their castings the same size, with no differences, and that can start to cause some issues when put into real life situations or dioramas, as demonstrated with this little scene here, where I've just put a few figures around this car and put it in a parking space, where you can see it fills up majority of the car park or parking space, and the figure can't quite sit on the bonnet as the car is just too big. So as you can see, the proportions of this model are a little off, but you can see the fuel filler cap, the door handle, the door lines, and the bumper lines, so I guess that is a plus. But as you can now see in more detail, under the spoiler there is hardly any paint. I will say the grey multi-spoke wheel choice is great for this car, as it does suit it very well, and it does make the casting stand out for a lot of others. Some of the decals have started to fade, and the grills are just a bit of black paint or a decal on either side, which again really isn't good enough for the price you're paying for this model. Something I did notice was on the interior, which is the bucket seats. Although the rest of the interior is fairly plain, you have got a tiny bit of a centre console, as well as 4-point harnesses attached to the racing seats, which is a very nice touch. With all this now known, let's head into the next car. So up next we've got the Mini GT version of the Nissan Skyline GTR, also in white. Now obviously the packaging is very different as this comes individually and not in a multi-pack. But again, it's got the GTR logo on one side and Mini GT on the other, just not Nissan. It has the Nissan sticker on the back with also the name and the Nissan licensing. So the main thing to note here is the price and again packaging. So with the Hot Wheels it arrives in a multi-pack, and as you can see this I just have to open and it's in hand. Whereas Hot Wheels does cost a lot more in the box. I'll be paying a lot less to keep it sealed and or open and put back in the box instead of cutting the tape to open it. Yes, the Mini GTs do also, when you buy them brand new, arrive with a cellophane wrap on. But when you open that cellophane wrap, you're not really doing anything to the price, as whereas the Hot Wheels, you open and it drastically changes. So that will play a huge part in which model you do choose, as and when I can put this model back in the box and put it away for future displays. But getting into the actual model itself, as you can see, the rear taillights are absolutely incredible. As you can see, they've used bits of plastic which really stand out, and same as the front, just adds that little bit of realism and makes the lights just that bit clearer. And the front grille, you can see it's got little lines on the front grille to just accentuate the details. It's got a nice twin exhaust and a screwed base, which is very good as you can customise these without being very knowledgeable in the side of customising. Now, as you can also see on the rear window, you can see the heated lines for the heated rear window, which again is a very, very nice touch, as it just adds another level of realism. The main factor that points me towards these models in the sense of realism is the wheels, as it does sit on the original OEM Nissan GTR wheels, which is a very, very nice touch, as all Hot Wheels do arrive on Hot Wheels premium wheels or the standard main lines. And now, as you can see, it does make a difference in the diorama, especially when you mention the scale as well. With the car not filling out the whole space and the figure being able to sit on the bonnet, as you can see, it does make a huge difference. The spoiler not being as big and the model just not being as wide. As we take a closer look at the rear of this model, you can definitely see some bigger details. With the paint not being applied as thick, you can definitely get an idea of the detail. With the skyline being put into the back bumper, that just adds again another level of the realism and a very nice touch. So let's put these models side by side and see what the differences are. So already, as you can see, the scale, already what I was talking about, the Hot Wheels is just a bit bigger, with the spoiler being a lot taller and the car just sitting a lot higher. The paint on the rear, again, is applied way too thick on the Hot Wheels. This isn't me saying Hot Wheels is not detailed at all, as you can definitely see there is details on the model, but the main differences are the quality of them details. So the rear and the front lights being a main difference, with the Mini GT using plastic and the Hot Wheels using decals. It does play a big part when put in a diorama situation. This is obviously just in a diorama situation. If you wanted your models to go down a track as quick as they possibly could, then Hot Wheels is definitely for you. As Mini GT's wheels, they do spin, but the quality on the actual rotation isn't the greatest, as some of the wheels do come buckled and the axles don't always roll straight. Unlike Hot Wheels, which 99% of the time will roll perfectly for a while. And that's not without saying the Hot Wheels has details that the Mini GT doesn't, like the vented bonnet. I think that's a very, very nice touch. It makes the R34 look very, very aggressive. But I do feel like this shot sums it up perfectly, with the scale and the detail both in one, as you can definitely get a perfect idea of what we're talking about. Now, going back to the two main points of the video, which is build quality and value for money. Now, you can pick up a Mini GT sealed for £15, or you can pick up the loose Hot Wheels for £20 or £15 if you are lucky. So for me, the better value for money car would be the Mini GT model, as it has more detail, you can put it back in the box, and it does not instantly decrease the value once you open it. Now, you'll say, if you are a true collector, you don't sell your items, which I completely agree with. That's a completely fair statement to make. But if you ever do want to, you don't really want to be halving what you've just paid something for. So for that, Mini GT does also stand out. And that brings us to build quality. And the reason I've left that till last is because it does depend on which way you look at build quality. As durability wise, Hot Wheels will obviously take the cake, as it is designed to go down a track and is designed for kids use. But on the other hand, Mini GT, if you look at build quality with detail, you can say it has a lot more detail. That being the headlights and rear tail lights being a piece of plastic instead of decals. But again, Hot Wheels do have the reasons behind it. Obviously, it's a kid's toy, and same with the wing mirrors. They don't really want small parts being able to pop off on children's toys. Obviously, that causes a choking hazard. But there are some Hot Wheels premiums, like the Toyota Celica out of the Mountain Drifters set, that does have moulded wing mirrors onto the casting already. If there is anything you do feel as though I have missed out on throughout the video, please feel free to comment it down below, as I do read all of the comments and it'll be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts on each of the models. Ultimately, it does come down to what you would like to collect, as Mini GT will carry the more detail on more detailed models, but Hot Wheels will always carry the name of Hot Wheels and be that toy that everyone remembers in their childhood. There are plenty of other brands out there, so if you do know any other highly detailed brands that you would like me to check out, also please feel free to comment them and I'll be sure to check them out also. Like I say, if there is any points that you did feel as though I didn't touch on or I was biased in any way, please feel free to comment down below. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.